So looking at okay, so looking at the XY, not the what the XY is. I love to look at this guy first thing in the week, right? First thing before I do anything in the market, right? Because it's important we know what the dollar index is saying because at the end of the day, dollar is the king of the market, right? So I usually use it to set my projection from the market, right? Usually I use it to set my projection for the market, right? So from the weekly time frame, you can see that the XY is showing a clear range, right? We are seeing a clear range from the market on the XY, clear rough range on the XY from here, right? So, all right, so this is a clear range on from the XY, right? This is a clear range from the XY, and it's pretty rough as you can see on the weekly time frame. So it's been difficult to be able to clearly project what the what the dollar had been since early last year. I've been able to project the direction of the market, especially with respect to the XY, has been a very difficult task because there's been a lot of crazy events over time and around them and sentiment around the markets that have caused the market to really act the way it's acting. Right, that have caused the market to act the way it's acting. Now, let me get this. Right, so let's start to project my screen from here. Okay, guys, give me a second. I'm just trying to sort out some technical issues from here in a bit, in a bit, in a bit. Right. I just have to sort out some technical issues from here. Okay. Right. That's right. Still. So this is the extra from the weekly time frame. You can see how very rough it is. So every time price touches this resistance, it drops. It touches it, it drops. It touches it, it drops. It touches it again, and you can see the drop. Right, the drop is looking imminent. Right, it's looking like it wants something that wants to really dump. Right, and also from daily time frame, looking at this guy from the daily time frame also. Right, you can already see that the sellers are already showing because this has been more like a range. So this gap here that the day open with is a clear breakout from this mini range we had here. All right, from this mini range we had here. Let's see how to let me display my screen. All right, so if you check the 4 hour time frame, you see the same thing. And this was like a range. Right, this here was like a range that the gap broke, right? You can see this was a range and by the gap that broke that range, and clearly market seems to want to continue lower from here, right? Since hitting this resistance, right? Wants to continue lower from there, right? So although overall, based on the structure, overall market is safe to say market is still bullish based on structure, right? Because for us to clearly be on a downtrend, this low has to be broken, right? Price needs to take out this low here, right? The low from here, this low here needs to be taken out, or this zone here from this point to this point needs to be taken out to confirm coming. All right, it needs to be taken out to confirm the uh, uh, break of structure. But right now, over this is based on overall view, right? But based on current market outlook, okay, we can say the sales have it. We can say the sales have it based on the current market momentum. We can say the sales are having a field day. We can say the sales are having a field day. Let me see if there's something I can make out from here. It's actually something. It's actually something. It's actually something. All right, so guys, so this is actually something to look out for. This is on the XY, right? I've had to really look at this guy carefully. So if you're going to continue lower, at least this needs to be taken out. This trend needs to be taken out. If price is going to continue lower, this trend needs to be taken out on the XY. This low needs to be taken out. Right, so this needs to be taken out. Right, so for this low to continue, but let's see how this uh can only be vetted maybe from tomorrow, Tuesday market open daily. Let's see how the day opens tomorrow, right? To confirm this particular house. So if this is able to break below by tomorrow, then fine. It means that the sales really have it, right? JPY basket is not is not overall on a good state to want to look at. Look at it from the day time frame, especially, right? From the weekly time frame, especially, it's not really there yet. It's not really right. Looking like something that wants to continue lower. I think that's something that wants to just continue lower from here. Right. Right, for Euro USD, the main guys, let's look at Euro USD precisely from the weekly time frame because this is the first day of the week. So we naturally want to look at things from the weekly time frame perspective. So if you look at this guy carefully, you see that we have a range. Right? You see that we have a clear range, so far since last year, right, on Euro USD. Market has just been ranging based on current market outlook. We've been playing inside this range for a long time, right? But also look at it from the daily time frame to see what's the current market flow, right? Now, let me just share what's going on here. So we've been selling Euro USD since I think this is supposed to be the third week now, right? Selling Euro USD. So this one we were projecting that this guy was going to get down to this point, but we'll go to this area and we've got this pullback. I think 4 hour time frame will be easier to do justice to this. Right, not until on Thursday, Thursday last week we were seriously selling, but I think that was supposed to be a very serious attack Trump was supposed to unleash on Iran, but he reverted, right? Actually, not the word revert, actually he changed his mind. That's the word, right? I think he was able to reach a bit of a consensus with them, and that he was supposed to bombard the region or an area in Iran, but it changed. It was when he was issuing the threat to do a lot of bombing, the market was responding with these bearish candles. But when he changed his mind, you can see the pullback. More like the market responded immediately. Immediately it dropped on his Twitter account that that they will not be the US military will not be giving that such response anymore. Made the market responded to their reverse immediately. That's why I see the market, this candlestick on Thursday like this, right? This was the reason why I see this massive reversal to the upside. And since then, market has just looking like it's going back to break even. But if you look at it also based on structure, you notice something that is going on here. We've had a lower low, a lower high, a lower low. This is like a new lower high that has been formed. And maybe it has been formed around the edges to this candle. It has strongly bullish, right? Please take us to 4 hours time frame to see what is going on. So this green level was like a benchmark, right? It was where we had our twirling stop, right? This was around where we had our twirling stop. So I had to mark it so you can see. A lot of those who have been taking these trades, right, have been stopped out on profits, right, around this area. So maybe the price wants to go back to this area again before it continues selling, or wants to reverse from here, it's still fine, right? So you can see what the market is currently doing from around this area, right? So personally, I won't advise you to want to go for the buys yet, as tempting as it seems, until there's a clear break above here. There are two areas we want to look at a possible buy on Euro USD. Either we from this base here, we buy, or price wants to do this. Maybe he wants to break. Let it take out this high, right? Let it take out this high, come back for a pullback. Then from there, we can buy from here. I told us the bases are very important. When you're placing your buys, it has to be from a higher low position, right? You don't want to buy just from anywhere, right? You want to buy from a higher low position, right? Where you want to buy from a good discounted area. But mark the word good discounted, and not just at any discounted area you see. Every pullback is a discounted area, right? Every pullback that gives forms a higher low is a discounted area, right? But a good discounted area will mean that a particular resistance has turned support, like this one, for instance. It's a resistance, but when it broken, when invalidated, it becomes a support. So this kind of area is a good discounted area that you could want to place your buy on to continue going, right? Because you might want to go and buy and buy price get here and choose to start continue selling. But from here, from this our trailing stop area, might choose to start ranging from there before you know it sinks lower, right? It starts selling again, right? So you don't want to go and you don't want to start buying from, you don't want to jump because you see market is buying, you just want to go and buy. No, there are areas you need to be, this way strategy comes in place. You need to be strategic with how you engage the market, else the market is going to take that money from you. Right? The market is going to take that money from you, right? So I just need to be clear on that, on this with you. And that's not just this one. Okay, let me see GPUSD, also another interesting pair we've had. And this is another pair that was selling. We'll go to this area, and for I think I remember calling us on last week or thereabouts to be mindful of this area on last week Thursday on GU. Right, last week Thursday to be mindful of this area on GU, and you can see that I can see our market has reacted to this area. I think last week Thursday, last week Tuesday, right? So you can see how the market reacted from this area, from this point, from this area, and taking us back to break even. Those of us who've been selling, right? So, but the thing is, provided we are still below this resistance, it is still sales. Same thing for EU. Provided you are below the resistance, the sales momentum is still valid. The sales is still very much valid. This is on EU. Whether you are below this zone, it is sales. But same thing for GU. But whether you are below this resistance, right, it is still sales until this area, that resistance is broken. only invalid before you consider changing your bias onto this. And this is where your risk management needs to be on point, right? It needs to be on point. You don't When market stops you out, it doesn't mean you should jump in immediately again. No, you wait. Why was I stopped out? Okay, maybe I entered prematurely. Okay, let me wait until this particular zone is seen validated before I start placing new. These are some of the things you need to put in place. It's okay to get stopped out, right? First time. But getting stopped at again the second time means you are getting a lot of things wrong. Right? A lot of things wrong. All right. So let's see also, let me see where this says Jeff. So this was another area. This was another area I marked for us, right? This was another area I marked for us on USDCHF sometime last week also. Right? I told us about this resistance. How that last week Thursday, how that this is an area of concern, and you can see the price go there. You can see the strong rejection already from this area, right? You can see the strong rejection already from this area, right? And the sales seem to be to already be trying to do, right? So you can see that the sales already having um, a field day, but this other area is another area of concern, another area of that's really important, right? Another area that's really important, right? Another area that's really important. So we could just price down this region and reverse and just reverse from there. So we're just between this zone and this zone. Price whatsoever price is doing is just between this zone and this zone, right? And this zone, right? And this zone. So these are very important areas of concern for us. Very important areas of concern for us around USCHF, right? So this we will get here, and for me, price could choose to bounce. Right, could choose to bounce and go higher for me again, right? And go higher for me again. So at this current state of the market, definitely you don't want to do anything else than time to sell, at least until price gets to this area on USDCHF. So you have no business trying to buy USDCHF. You have no business trying to buy it because this guy will definitely get to this zone. So to this zone is whatever happens around this zone is what will determine whatever action you're going to take, right? So I going to take. So if you break around, if price breaks below this zone, then definitely the sales will have it. But if you get here and start consolidating a bit, building momentum, maybe we see those double bottom or inverse head and shoulders, all those chart patterns, all those those reversal patterns you want to see. If you start seeing them forming around this area, you know that the buyers are beginning to intrude into the market. Trying to check what's it's going. So this view on USDCH. All right, guys. So that's what happens around this area on USDCHF. My egg price gets this zone on USDC. Well, on one. Why the next, I think next I would want to see is Canadian dollar, USD Canadian dollar, USD Canadian dollar, USD Canadian dollar. Right, we can see that I've been able to capture this guy on a trend. I've been able to capture this guy on a trend. This was a trade we took on USD Canadian dollar that smashed TP, right, and continued higher from there. Now, we're able to also map out the next targets on USD to be around this area, right, to be around this zone here, this area here, at least first for now. Except if it wants to continue higher, it's from around this area, right? So let me show you something. So some of you might say, okay, I want to take a trade right now. It's fine, right? Taking the buy on USD Canadian dollar from around this area might just be okay, right? Your But this is already a bullish channel in itself. This is a bullish channel in itself. So I just want to set something like this, just secondly low like this, and maybe this as your target profit might be okay, right, on this guy, because for every time, not for every time we touch this channel, we went higher, touch, went higher, touched, went higher. So we've been forming higher highs and higher lows around this channel. So this might just be something valid you want to put, you want to take for the week on USD Canadian dollar, right? This might just be a signal you want to take on USD Canadian dollar to see how this plays out, right, in the coming days, right? You see how this plays out in the coming days for you. Right, the next pair I would want to look out for is AUD USD, right? It's around AUD USD. It's around AUD USD. Let me see from the daily time frame. So AUD USD, we've been on sales on AUD USD for some time, and it's looking like it's about time we close that sales on AUD USD, right? Since price from this white shoulder, we know that it's just going to sink down, and of course it did sink down, continued lower, and we go to this point midway. Again, market seems to be this again. It's looking like a pullback. This is actually a pullback, not even looking like this is actually a pullback. Right? So I'm not pointing this out to you guys last night. I might just go to test this area. Right? I might just go test this 0.71197 area, which more like the neckline of the head and shoulders pattern we have here clearly. Right? I just go and test it before it continue lower, just to continue with the structure. Let me show you something, guys. So usually you take it from the right shoulder down here. I want to take it from here or from here. So price might just go like this. Sorry. My mouse is misbehaving, so I'm kind of using my hand to move these things. So might just get here, and from here, you continue lower, forming lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower until you hit the target here on AUD USD. Right. So this was what I'm projecting on AUD USD. This is what I think what's going to play out on AUD USD. All right. So once you start seeing the BS and coming in, then it's an opportunity for you to short, right? AUD USD. Now once you start seeing the BS showing momentum, like they're trying to come in fully, especially daily candle. Once you see like a daily bearish candle close on AUD USD, just know that the sellers are about to start entering the market again. So it might to me for us for those of us who have been on this trade to be able to start add more position. Those who are new want to start entering, want to join us on this train, right? So that's that on AUD/USD. Sure, new NZD/USD has not been my best pair really lately because you can see the way it looks like it's really rough. This guy's looking really rough, so that's not really been the best of pairs to trade, right? It's been very, 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 very rough. Right? It's been very, very rough. Right? It's been very, very rough for this guy. With this guy from here. While so there's nothing exactly to want to start looking at on this guy the way it looks like this. This is inside the USD from the daily time frame. So there's nothing spectacular about this guy, actually right now. Right? Nothing spectacular about this guy actually right now. Except you are seeing something me I'm not seeing. So the next guy is gold. What's gold saying? Now gold, we bearish on gold. And we still are, right? We still are, let me see. Let me show you something. We still are bearish on gold because this was a trade setup we wanted to take on gold, but it went shy of our order. It didn't trigger our order, so it left it sold without us. So as long as gold is still inside this bearish trend, we are still bearish, right? The only time we want to be looking at the only time I'll be looking at to buy gold is if this very structure is invalidated. Until I say break, until gold does this for me, until gold breaks this guy, breaks this high, this like a high we have around here, breaks it, comes back lower, then maybe I would want to take gold. Right? Until this happens, my sentiment is still bearish on gold. Right? Until this happens, there's a break of this trend, bearish trend, pull back, then I want to take gold. But if not, provided we are still inside this bearish trend, I'm bearish on gold. Right? I don't care whatever is going around here. It's just a pullback. Just a pullback. Whatever is going on around there is just a pullback on gold. Right? Just a pullback. So this is just my view on my 1% on gold. Except maybe someone else want to ask me a question or wants to say something about that. Maybe I'll give you guys room for questions later. So since there's something our guy shared with us last week that market sentiment is actually shifting away from the war, and that is really true. Or as you can see, that the price of oil is beginning to seriously declining, and I think Donald Trump made a statement even today how that the Strait of Hormuz is now open. The U.S. they are giving instruction to the U.S. Naval Navy to evacuate the Strait of Hormuz, and also same thing with the whole tariff by Iran has also seem to reach a consensus. So since that restriction is no longer there, so currently there is a free move. All the ships that have been held hostage or stocked at the straits have now begun to move, which means that part is now open for oil to really move. Because that particular channel accounts for over 20% of the oil that are being distributed around the world. But 20%, that is why the impact is really massive on oil globally, right? So with that area being open, right, it means that the oil has no reason to be at the top anymore. The price of oil has no reason to be at the top, so it has to crash. That's the plummet time. But then, those of you in Nigeria might not feel the impact because Nigeria is the only place. Nigeria is the only country that defies gravity. Whatever goes up stays up, doesn't come down, right? So, so globally, for the rest of the world, the price of oil is crashing, it's coming back, it's beginning to come back to normal and all that. But here in Nigeria, you are yet to feel it. Yet to feel it. But look at what oil is doing currently based on structure. You can see we had a double top situation around there. And from the right hand side, you can see that the price has been showing signs to fall. Since this high, since we touched this high here, forming lower highs. Let me see, try to use my mouse to do this. This is a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower low around this support area. This is very significant because for even the price touched here, you can see the massive move to the upside. It touched it again, the massive move to the upside. Now we are here again. So what I expect is to see price do this for me. Come back to retake, give me a new lower high before we dump down to form this lower low, a new lower low. This is what I expect on oil. This is what I expect to see oil do in the coming days. Might get a pullback, or you can still choose to crash directly, right? Price can choose to crash directly without necessarily forming that a lower high for us. Can just choose to continue going lower. But either ways, for technical reasons, this is what we want to think or assume that price is going to do this. We don't want to assume that price is going to do this for us, right? For those of you who love trading oil, you would want to wait to see oil form a new lower high before you sell. You sell at lower highs and you buy at higher lows. These are simple elementary entry strategies we must imbibe, no matter how big you are as a trader. These basics must stay with you. All right. So this is that for oil. The next is BTC. What's going on in BTC at the moment? So all my crypto guys whose wallets have been sleeping. I saw what's going on with crypto. Let me just show us. Looking at crypto from the monthly time frame perspective, you see, okay, let me go to the weekly time frame so it makes a bit more sense to you. So this was an area I marked for us last week, and I told us that this support area is very important, right? For those of you who are new, who are new on my call, or BTC has been forming higher highs, have been on the uptrend for the longest of time until some months ago, where we now broke below this trend. The narrative changed, right? Narrative changed, and we're now looking at okay. We now have to mark this area as an area of concern. That okay, let's what price. If maybe price might just this at this point, this was still like a higher low, even though we've broken out of a T structure. But this low is higher than it was higher than this low. So there was still a bit of hope until we crashed below this low, and now we started looking at market from another angle, right? And that was a pullback to this area, and from there we crashed lower, right? But either way, so whatever is going around there, we are still giving a bit of hope. There's still a bit of hope that maybe price has a tendency to recover, right? But if it ever breaks below this 55K mark, this area, this 55K mark, then it is game over for holders, right? It is game over for holders because we might see BTC crash lower into the 2022 bearish zone of 16K, right? Of 16K. 2022 will be around 16K trading BTC. 16K, right? So if it if it ever break below this area, so that was this, maybe this area might be is this area. People are calling this area 24K as another significant support, but it is not as significant as the 16K area, right, for BTC. So, but then this area seems to be want to hold its own, right? So just maybe there's a bit of hope and a bit, Trump is a crypto guy at the end of the day. Both Trump and Elon are both crypto guys, crypto players. So they might not want to see it crash that bad because I know the US government itself is invested into the crypto space. So they might not want to do or say anything that will really make things go as bad as so bad anyways. I mean, that's about. Right, so there are also a few assets we'll be looking at, and one of which is this guy, AUD NZD, one peer asset we're looking at, because look at this guy based on structure. This is because I'm already more concerned with peers that have a clean bit of a nice structure. So AUD NZD has been one pair that has been on my radar since last year. We discovered that this guy has been playing around a channel, right? So from a daily time frame perspective, let's see what's going on. So it seems that okay, we are seated here, and for some of you who've been here, like who were here last week, I told you guys, okay, let's buy this guy, let's put our assets around there. But mind you, ensure you are risking you're trading this guy with one of the smallest lots, like 0.0 lot size, 0.01 to hold this trade. So if you're able to, if this guy is able to play out for you, right, potential of giving you around almost 200 pips to catch on this guy, right? Not the bad trade if it plays out actually. So let's say it plays out and it's still playing out. Those of us who took this trade are kind of in profit. Are in profit. But maybe from tomorrow up before the week runs out, we might see bigger candles being built up around there and making us sit on good, really, really, really good profits on this guy. All right. So this is also what I'm looking at from the on AUD NZD, while the next is on uh, let's see, there's another pair. I think Euro GBP. Sorry, not this guy, not this guy. It's this guy, Euro AUD, right? Euro AUD. We've been bullish on this guy since around about the three card our order from around this base here. And we've kept this is for weeks now. We've been on this guy for weeks now. I can't remember how many weeks. I think it should be it triggered us from around there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 weeks thereabout. That is almost 2 months. So we just had our positions holding on this guy. And our target is over. This is our target around here. First target, second target around this top. Around the top. Our final target is almost 2,000 pips on this guy. Right. So it's still valid. Those of you are here to join, this setup is still valid for you to take to ride with us. And this is from the daily time frame on Euro AUD. The setup is still very much valid. That's it. What all you've had is just a pullback, and maybe a setup you might want to take this. Like I thought, for those of you who took this tool with me earlier, we said it was for a long hold. Right, we might be on this particular trade till the end of the year, if not even up to next year. I just let Michael just be doing the thing. We know where it's heading to at the end of the day. Right? The fact that you've broken out of this range, this was like a range at some point, but we've broken out of it. That's why you can see the green lines are marked, used to mark this. So we've broken out of it, but more like a pullback down to give us a second. Those who could not catch it earlier, a second chance. There's another time opportunity for you to ride this guy to the top. Right, to ride Euro AUD to the top. Right. So I think I'm not sure there's any other pair I've not looked at. So this is a point where I get to ask you to maybe if you have any question to ask, this is your chance to do so. If you have any question to ask, this is your chance to do so. Now, for those of you who don't know, we have people in the office here who are also and we are on this call live. Someone is asking me a question on how do you know the high and the low for the DRB. So usually that's this like the different. Don't worry. Another person is asking me a question on okay, I should look at AUD/USD again. But we'll look at it again, right? So you can just drop your questions for me on the chat section. So let's look at gold, for instance. Should I use gold? Let me see. Okay, let's use gold. Let's use gold since more people here love gold. Now, there's one thing that you might not know. You can only know the high and the low of a structure, number one, or of candles for the previous day, right? For the previous day. So this is like the daily time frame, for instance. So based on structure now, this is on gold. You put your pivot, maybe your pivot tool or something. It will capture this as high. This is used to be a high based on structure. This will be a low. This will be a high. This will be a low. Right there. This green level, where this green level is a high based on structure. And this guy here will be a low. Sorry. Can be a low. So you can put it on this week here, but I just like to capture the open or the close. Right? If I'm marking my areas. I only use trend and weeks for trends. So for last week Friday, for instance, because the market opens works from Monday to Friday, right? So weekend market is quiet. No new candles happening from new weekends except in crypto, right, and synthetics markets, right? So on this now, based on if you want to use that now to maybe trade gold, you might have a hard time because gold can be very dramatic, right? So if you want to look at highs and lows, I rather use if you look at gold, look at it based on structure, not just based on the daily candles, low, daily days, the days high, the days low. Because you want to do by that based on the previous day. For example, this was the day's high, Abby, and this was the previous days. This on Friday's low. This on Friday's low. You can see when this guy was opening now, immediately cleared your high. Abby. So maybe some of you might say, this is a downtrend. So this is the daily high. So that means price gold might not sell up to this, might not break above this high. You might want to go and sell before you clears you out. But if you want to look at gold based on structural highs and stories, you can say maybe based on structural highs, know that this guy, this is the high. So we still have some time to get to the top. Right? Gold still have some time to move to grow to this high. Which means it's gradually trying to invalidate this trend. You have a trend line. So what's going on currently is a pullback. What do you call a pullback? Like a retracement, a pullback. That's what's going on with gold. Gold is pulling back. So you might get to this trend line and respect it and drop, or you might choose to maybe come and test here before it drops. But for me to buy gold needs to break this high. There must be a change in character. Gold needs to break this high. Come up with a pullback a bit there. Look for a pullback on the lower time frames and execute. Yeah, anything can bomb at this point. This moment, anything can bomb. When I get here, I choose to start selling. Get to this trend, I choose to start selling. It's dangerous to want to engage gold right now. Get the point. So that's why at the end of the day, in trading, we say waiting is a strategy. You must need to wait. And one of the things you need to get clear is your strategy, right? So know what you are working with, and be patient to allow what you are waiting for, or your strategy to play out. Now, this is a strategy now. I'm saying this is what I want to buy gold. So I will wait. For me to, if I want to buy, this is what I wait for this to happen. I get to break this and I get that pullback before I buy. Or if I want to sell, I'll say, okay, let's get to this from this area, around this area, where it's around this trend line and this green level here. I'll now be waiting for a potential sales. If I want to sell, you get me? So once the price get around there, once price around this area, I'll be watching. But now see a strong bearish, maybe the candlestick patterns like maybe bearish engulfing, tweezer tops, right? Or evening star, all these candlestick patterns. If I see them around this area, I want to now execute my sales and see how it goes. Get the point, right? Yeah, that area, this area, selling be around this area. Then I want to see a candlestick pattern, a clear candlestick pattern. So not that price just gets and I want to say no. You need to see clear. Getting there is one. Candlestick pattern is another. That's what you call confluence in trading. That some things that must add up. Just like you're like a soldier. So you're going to a battlefield. You need a gun. You need a AK-47. You need a pistol, right? You need a bomb. These are all your attacking weapons. You need a dagger. So in case you are shooting the guy is doing Odeshi, You try pieces, you see, you just throw bomb, you see, you use that guy, Osham, to trick him. You get me? These are all weapons. Yeah, so you need to be preparing your mind. Okay, once it gets here, that's one number one. This number one, once price gets here, that is one. Uh, right. So and the next is maybe you're looking for the next confidence, maybe candlestick patterns or reversal pattern, like maybe a double top or a head and shoulder. You get me? These are all patterns you want to wait for to see around there. Or if you think of Fibonacci 2. So if you just Fibonacci 2 around this area, for instance, only from this high, for instance, to this low, Fibonacci will telling me that, okay, oh, this area is my 50%, between 50% and 61.8%, which is a strong reversal, which is a reversal. So Fibonacci is giving me confirmation around here that we can sell from here. I need to wait for candles. Now, trend line Fibonacci are telling me I can sell from here. I have two items now. They tell me I can sell from there. And even the Bible says, the amount of two or more witnesses, this truth is what established. I mean, so two things are telling me I can sell from here. Fibonacci and trend line. I think I can sell from here. So I want to wait again. When price gets here first. When price gets here, and I see my candlestick or chart pattern, sales reversal pattern showing around there, then it's a go ahead. It's not necessarily an indicator, just candlestick pattern, like maybe your shooting star, your evening star, your tweezer tops, your bearish engulfing. You get all these candlestick patterns. Once you see them around this area, it might be like a go ahead to go and sell. At the end of the day, there's nothing is 100%. But this one's only increase the odds for you. Confidence will increase the odds. Meaning, okay, like every 3 to 4 different tools telling you do the same thing. Right? So it puts your confidence to want to execute on that. Right? So I know some of you online will be wondering why I'm sitting on this, because I have people in the office. Let me say that again. Right? So let's look at ADUSD. Somebody asked me also, somebody is asking for me to look at ADUSD again. Oh, let's look at ADUSD again and see what is going on around there. So this is ADUSD. As far as we are below this area, let me mark it for you. Maybe because I did not mark it properly for you, that's why you're asking me this question. As far as you are below here, you see this, we are below this area, this zone, we are selling AUD/USD. So whatever is going on around there is just a pullback. This is not a sign for you to buy. This is a pullback. So don't make me say because you see a few bullish candles, you want to now start entering, you want to now start buying. You really shoot yourself on the foot. This now, man, this even on a daily time frame. This was even on a daily time frame. Let me join you. Man, who they talk the job. All right, guys. So if you're looking at to do it on AUD/USD, my advice, right? If you want to buy, wait for this area to be broken before you do anything. Buy. If you're looking at to sell, fine and clear. Wait for a bearish candle to close. Then the day close with a bearish candle. Then that means you'll be trading with the momentum. You're trading with the sales momentum to make your money. Yeah. I'm listening. Okay. Well, I sold AUD Canadian dollar, right? Now, ADUSD, thank you, yeah. When I called for the sales on ADUSD was there's a rule around the formation of when you have a head and shoulders pattern, right? Usually the number of countries that form the way the left shoulder formed, it's usually the same way the right shoulder will form. Hmm? Yeah, it looks like a sniper, but it's not this. I call this live here for them. I call this straight for them live. That's because usually when in chart formations, right, or in candlestick formations, which when you look about chart patterns like head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, for instance, where we have wedges, triangles, and all. But specifically for head and shoulders, so the candles, the left hand, just like the left hand. Let me show you some. This is the left hand. This is the left hand side, right? This is the left hand, right? This is the head. This is the right hand side, right? Right. So usually the way the left hand side form, usually the same way the right hand side will form. But this one forms like a rectangular block like this. Abi? Maybe it don't. So when I saw this guy also trying to replicate the same thing, I know that this guy will not is not ready to go any further. So naturally, this guy will just sell, will just done for me. So when we are around this green level, I told them, just take your sales, but but make sure you are taking it for this one of the smallest lot size in case of any surprises. Nothing is 100%. I keep saying this, nothing is 100%. No strategy is 100%. Right? So I banked on that and I tell them to sell because when I look at the way the left hand side formed, it was looking similar to the way the right hand side was forming. I knew that this was ready to dumb down and it eventually did dumb down. That was the simple principle I used on this guy. And that's how we took this way that made all this. So as far as this structure is concerned, we are still bearish on ADUSD. So don't go ahead to say, oh, you want to go and buy and be shooting yourself on the foot. That's sometimes you enter the market and it's when you enter the market start doing another thing. Abi, that's because a lot of times you don't pay attention to the overall structure, what the market is truly doing. You're just engaging based on the moment. As after looking at what is happening, what has happened before.